I am very excited to be able to live stream at a time that's more convenient and conducive to y'all. So, definitely looking forward to live chat popping off, things like that. But what I wanted to talk about today was how important it is that we make the best choices that we can for ourselves in the present moment. And the reason that I include present moment is because I'm not talking about being overly critical of ourselves about decisions that we've made in the past. I'm not talking about things that we've done in the past that, have caused us trauma or anything like that. What I'm talking about is being able to take actionable steps and to make choices that are best and ideal for you, depending on your situation, depending on what you have going on, right? Because the present is the most important thing to focus on. If we're focused on the past, we're usually just in a place of constant, like, oh, I can't believe I did that, or oh, I can't believe, all that mess, right? If we're focused on the future too much, usually what happens is we're worrying. Now, in some instances, people are excited about their future, and I love seeing that. I absolutely love it because I'm like, okay, great. You're in a healthy place, right? Because you have things that are upcoming for you that are things that you are attracting, that are things that you are, manifesting. But focusing on the present requires engagement and also requires that you really focus on the choices that you're making. So if you have a goal, whatever that goal may be, not taking the steps that you need to take in order to achieve that goal is only going to harm you, because what it's going to send the message to your brain and to your body is, I can't do this. I don't have the commitment to do this. I don't have the capacity to do this. And that's not true in any way. Maybe it's just that the way that you're setting goals is not appropriate for you and the way that you are, the way that your energy is. Everyone's different. Everyone, makes goals in different ways. Everyone makes choices in different ways. And the biggest thing to think about is when you're making any choice or decision, is this going to positively serve me? Is this going to help me in some way? Is this something that I truly believe in, want to be engaged in? Is this something that excites me, that excites my body, right? Because so many times we talk ourselves out of things because of our head. We overanalyze, we overcritique, we think about all of these things that tell us, oh, I can't do whatever it is that I want to do because my past has reflected that I'm unable to do that. Well, your past isn't important, and staying stuck on it is not going to help you make better choices. So, when you're thinking about these choices, right, again, saying, is this going to serve me right now? Not in the future, but right now. Is this choice, is this decision that I'm about to make, is it going to serve me right now? So this can be something super small, this can be something super big. A good example would be what you're eating, the fuel that you're consuming, right? Thinking of food as fuel. I'm not saying, I've never said you have to have a perfect diet, because I think that that kind of kills a lot of joy for people when it comes to food. But what I am saying is something like that, like, what am I going to eat for lunch? And then deciding. A really good method of making a choice. Thank you so much for the like. I appreciate that. A really good way to like make a choice that comes from your body, that comes from your heart, your gut, is to give yourself a set amount of time to make a decision. That can be 15 seconds, that can be 30 seconds. But as soon as you make that decision, go ahead and just flow with it and go along with whatever decision it is that you made, because you know that you didn't spend time over analyzing it and overthinking it, right? Beating it dead. You don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to have yourself on a loop of, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know, this seems kind of scary, or, and again, it could be something small or it could be something big. It could be some type of life changing event, right? It could be taking the next step in a relationship, it could be getting a house, it could be having children, it could be a number of things. But with all of your decisions, I want you to give yourself that like 15 to 30 seconds and then just make your decision and then go along with it. Because again, you'll know it came from your body, it didn't come just from your mind. Oftentimes, what happens is men and women get stuck in solely their masculine energy, right? So that is your head, that is the logic, the analytical, things like that. Whereas the feminine energy, which men have as well, it's not just women, that comes from your body, and that comes from, being able to kind of sense and to kind of know, not just knowing yourself, but being a little bit more intuitive, right? So this may require a little bit of work, which is a choice, right? This may require a little bit of work, getting to know yourself a little bit better, getting to understand certain aspects about yourself. And I have talked about in the past briefly a little bit, I've talked about human design. And with human design, I just feel like it's so helpful when you understand your chart, to understanding yourself, and to understanding kind of what makes you tick and what doesn't make you tick, and really kind of diving into that. And I will be doing a video series on human design, but I'm still learning, right? So one of my limiting beliefs is, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I don't have the preparation, I don't have the knowledge yet. But I made the decision real quick. I was like, no, this is something that I need to do. Even if it's showing me just kind of going through it, explaining kind of my human design, right? And then from there, going on and trying to help others, understand their own, however the videos work out, however that may be. It's something that I really want to do and I feel really led to do from my heart, from my body. Analytically, I'm thinking, oh, hell no, you're not ready for this, right? And kind of beating myself up about it. And that's why I announced this video series maybe like a month ago, maybe a little bit more than that. And have you seen any videos on it? No. So sometimes even I get stuck in fear, even I get stuck in the analytical mind, and that I wouldn't say that the fear is like a masculine part, but I would say that the fear is just a human component, right? It's just something that our bodies kind of have. And what it is it's to protect us. Now, in this particular situation, it would be to protect my ego, right? To protect my ego from failure. When it comes to choices and decisions that you're making, right? Again, making them quick and just sticking with them. But once you make those decisions, you have to also think, is this about my ego, or is this about actually something I want to do, something that um, maybe it scares you, but also is something that you just feel like, you just intuitively feel like you need to do. Like it's something that's important, that it's something that is going to help you in some way. And then you never know, in some capacity, that may help another person. For me, I know that I'm a generator, so I'm a workhorse. I am a powerhouse of energy and work and all of that, right? There's several different types, but that's a really good tool as to understanding yourself and as to understanding what you should be doing when it comes to making choices and decisions for yourself. But ultimately, being in alignment with who you really are, right? Who you actually are, being honest with yourself, being authentic, not bullshitting yourself and saying, oh, I'm this person, when no, you're really not. That's just someone you're pretending to be. But being honest with yourself and holding yourself accountable to that and making your decisions based off of the person you actually are in this present moment, right? You can have a goal of who you want to be. But what we're talking about is the present moment. So setting goals, right? Now that means that they're going to be accomplished at some point in the future. So does that mean you can't set goals? No, absolutely not. You can set goals. You can absolutely be future focused if you would like to be. All I'm saying is that what you want to do is when you're starting with goals and starting with changes, you want to really know who you are right now, be understanding of what your actual limits are and what your limited beliefs are, okay? Because your limited beliefs can be what's actually holding you down, keeping you in that place of fear, keeping you in that place of, oh, I can't make that choice. I can't make that decision, making you go past that 30-second mark, right? To where you're overanalyzing and overthinking about everything having to do with this decision. Now, some people that I coach, when I first kind of explain this concept, they're like, "You mean you want me to make like a big, like life-changing decision within 30 seconds?" And I tell them yes, and they think I'm crazy. They're like, "There's no way." And I'm like, "Okay, look. When you're doing it from your body, when you're doing it from this place of like, again, not overanalyzing or overthinking it, but when you're coming from a place of like trust, literally trusting your gut, literally trusting your heart, that's a much different thing, right? If you're not trusting your gut, if you're not trusting yourself, then of course, no, maybe not making a major life decision in 30 seconds is ideal for you right now. And that's why I'm saying it's super important that you know who you are in this moment right now, that you know your strengths and your weaknesses, and not let your ego get in the way. Because our egos, they love to get in the way of a lot of things for us because our egos are here to protect us. Our egos are also here to kind of show off sometimes, you know? But our egos are here really to protect us for the most part. And that will include sometimes self sabotaging, which sounds like, well, how the hell is that protecting me? Self sabotaging, what it is stopping yourself, kind of like throwing whatever it is you're trying to do into the trash ahead of time before you can even get a chance to start going, right? Those negative thoughts, those really like scary things that you start to think about because you're like, well, what if this could go wrong? And again, the overanalyzing, the overthinking. And when you're self sabotaging, oftentimes it's not even you, it's your subconscious. Because our conscious mind is only responsible for about 5%. 95% is our subconscious, and it's listening to everything. And I've talked about this before. It's listening to everything you say, everything that you're consuming, whether it be food, whether it be content, whether it be music, whatever it is, right? It's listening. So it's going to know your triggers, it's going to know the things to kind of pick at to make you be or feel, I'm going to say feel unable to accomplish whatever goal it is or unable to make a decision that you need to make. You might feel fear, and that's okay. Everyone feels fear, like everybody does. And it's okay to feel fear. There's nothing shameful about feeling fear. But are you going to find a way to push through that? Or are you going to allow it to keep you in the place that you're at right now? If you're happy with who you are right now, if you really don't think that you have anything that you need to work on, okay, right? But what I found is that most people have stuff that they need to work on. Most people have things that they know. They know from, past experiences, or they know from present experiences that they need to work on. And you can do this with inner work. You can do this with a lot of different things, right? Just even challenging yourself, finding something for you that's challenging, finding something for you that you're afraid of and saying F it and doing it anyways. But making choices, making decisions. Thank you so much for the like. I appreciate that. Making choices and making decisions. Again, just give yourself 15 to 30 seconds. Don't overthink, don't overanalyze. And if it's a big, big, big decision, I'm still going to give that same advice. Hold on, I think there's lipstick on my teeth. That's me being real. Hey, G, how are you? Aw, thank you for joining the live stream. Um, So, being in the present moment, right? Again, really knowing yourself, knowing who you are. Another thing too is knowing what situation you're in. Okay. So this is a big one. Being honest and authentic about what situation you currently are in. Who are you surrounding yourself with? How are you living, right? Like, are you super messy and chaotic and, kind of not together? Or are you more neat and like a little bit more together and a little bit more like, okay, I always think clean space, clean mind, which I know sounds something that it sounds very trivial, but it's honestly very true. I do not agree with that. Albert Einstein, I think there was like a quote about him saying how he had this like radically, messy desk. And he's just like, oh, it's just because my mind is so full of, thoughts and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, without people like that, we wouldn't have a lot of the things that we have today. There's a lot of people in history that didn't have the information that we have right now, didn't have the emotional capacities, and they were all just living in their heads. Now, did they accomplish things? Absolutely. But they also had to find a way to accomplish things in the present moment. And that's what I'm trying to drive home to you is you want to be making these choices with the present moment in mind. Yes, if you want to be future focused, that's fine too, but only if it's something you're excited about. If it's something you're dreading, something you're worried about, then all that's going to do is totally like ruin your energy for that moment. It's not going to be worth it. There's going to be, it doesn't feel good to be in a lower frequency energy. So trying to maintain that high energy, always being grateful, and honestly, even just thinking like the fact that I get to make a decision about this, the fact that I get to have control on something like this, that may seem small, but it can completely change the way and it can completely change your perspective on the way that you see whatever it is that the decision is that you need to make. So, not there's not a lot that's trivial. Everything really does matter. There is a compound effect. But I don't want that compound effect from your past to keep on repeating itself. I don't want you to be on a loop, especially if there was negativity, especially if there was a lot of beating yourself up, because I know what that feels like and I've been there and it did not feel good. And I was not being my best self. I was not doing the things that I needed to do to take care of myself. I wasn't engaging in any type of self care stuff. I wasn't engaging in my family or my friends in the way that I wanted to. I always kind of felt like there was a wall. Like I had this wall up. And I think the reason that I had that was because I was afraid of getting hurt. And there's so many people that have that same issue or problem. Maybe because they have trust issues, maybe because they have been burned in the past. But when you learn to accept things, when you learn to accept help, whether it be from your family or your friends, when you learn to accept who you are in this moment and be honest with yourself, know the things that you need to work on and move forward, that's the best, right? That is the best. So living in the present is always the best because then you are fully aware at all times. You're fully aware of what's going on around you. You have that awareness. You have the awareness of what's going on inside of you as well. And when you're able to take that energy that you have in your mind and kind of move it to your body and allow your body to experience things and allow your body to be the decision maker almost in a way, right? Making the decisions from your gut, making the decisions from your heart, knowing when to respond to somebody, knowing that when we're reactionary, that's when we know we don't want to make any choices or any decisions. If we're in a place of being reactionary, that's one of the worst things you can do. So then it's like, okay, have patience in making this choice and decision, but make it quick. It's like, but have patience. Don't let, triggers and all of those things, these words that float around these days. It used to be just like normal problems that everybody had, it wasn't about triggers, but that's just me. I'm 35, so I'm a little bit different, I guess. I don't know. But kind of seeing yourself for who you really are, seeing other things for what they really are. And you can analyze to a point other things, but I would say that it's more about being discerning than it is so much about an over analysis of your situation. It's way more about just being discerning. So I highly suggest that people look up the difference between, or just look up what the word just like to be discerning means. So that way you can understand that that is completely different from judgment, right? When we're making judgments, especially from a place of like reactionary, type of vibes and stuff, we're not going to really get where we need to go. We can't live in a reactionary state all the time. And unfortunately, that's something that I see with a lot of people, just based on my observations, based on like listening to people's conversations. And I'm just like, well, it doesn't have to be that way, right? But I am not responsible for anybody else changing. All I can do is provide the information. All I can do is let you know what has helped me, what has helped my clients. And that's all I can do. Everything else has to come from you. You have to make the choices that you need to make for yourself. You have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, am I in a reactionary state right now? Or am I in a more calm, oh, thank you so much for the like. I appreciate that. Or am I in a more like calm, place where I can actually make this decision, where I can actually make this choice, knowing that it's not coming from a place of reaction, right? Knowing that it's coming from a place of response, being able to respond to whatever, choice or decision you have to make, but not having it come from a place of reacting. Because what that is coming from that like survival mode. That's coming from almost like the fight or flight mode. And you don't want to be in that space, especially for a long period of time. It is so draining. It really is. And when you live that over and over again, because what our mind likes to do is our mind likes to play these loops, right? These circles of, it can be stuff from the past, it's mainly stuff from the past, but it can even be things that you're worrying about in the future, right? And these loops just play over and over, and it's like, how the hell do I make this stop? And the truth is, the way to make it stop is to be engaged in the present. And it's also finding ways to support yourself and finding other people that can be supportive of you, finding that like family you make, right? The family that you make is what matters. Maybe you come from a household that was broken. Maybe you come from a household where you had two incredible parents. Sometimes it doesn't really matter where you come from when it comes to your family dynamic or having a single dad or a single mom. It's not really all about that, because people end up with the same types of situations regardless. And I've seen this time and time again. So whenever I'm asking a client, like, okay, so like growing up, what was your home life like? And da 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 da. And no matter what, they still all go through trials and tribulations. They still all have those moments of difficulty. Not everyone has this like just perfect streamlined life. Now, people may make it seem that way, online, and when they talk about things, they'll only talk about their positives. And I do think that you should definitely stay in an elevated state and focus on what you're doing well. But when you're talking to others, um, you also want to be self-aware on how you're coming off. So even when you're making a whole bunch of growth, even when you're making a whole bunch of wonderful decisions, you also want to kind of think about, well, not that you're going to let other people's opinions bring you down, and you're not going to let others' opinions like stifle your growth, right? But you really want to think about, like, is this the right audience? Whoever it is that you're with, is this the right audience for this? Is this really the right audience for what I want to say or what I want to talk about? And like I've said before, a lot of people, they really prefer just talking about themselves. They don't really take the time to listen and to really hear what others are saying or really accept their, other people's feedback. That was something that was incredibly challenging for me. And I remember back in the day, like, I would talk about myself not because I was trying to say, oh, I'm so awesome and I'm so this. No, no, no. I was trying to find people that I could like commiserate with, right? Which is a super negative activity, but I thought that's how you make friends. Like, I remember thinking this when I was in school and stuff. I was like, yeah, the way to find people is to kind of share what you're, going through, and hopefully someone in this group is going to be able to, also share that similar type of feeling or have a similar type of situation, just so that way I could garner like a better understanding, right? Maybe they had a way to cope that I didn't have. Maybe they had a way to just have a different perspective that I didn't have. But that wasn't the way to go about making friends. That wasn't the way, but I didn't understand that, right? I was just a kid. I didn't know. I don't have shame or guilt about my past. I don't have shame or guilt about things that happened when I was younger and stuff like that, because I don't spend a lot of time on the past. And I'm telling you, you will be so much happier when you're really able to be fully engaged in the present, right? And again, you can be future focused, especially when it comes to your goals, but that's only if it's something that excites you. If it's something that you're dreading, then don't do it, right? Know yourself. Know what puts you in a good mood, in this high, elevated mood. Know what also puts you in a bad mood so you know what to avoid. So you know kind of what you need to step away from. But ultimately, the decisions and choices that you make are within your control. There are a few one-offs. I will give you that. There's a few one-offs where some things aren't. But the pieces that you can control, the decisions and choices that you can make, that you can control to, do what's best for you and do what's best for, your situation or your family or whatever it is that you have, focus on that. Don't focus on all of the other BS. Focus on the things that you have control of, and that is your choices and your decisions. Just like you're making a choice and a decision to watch this live stream, that's one thing that you can like give yourself a little pat on the back about, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to accept this information. I'm willing to, kind of ruminate in it, but I just don't want you to ruminate in it only in your mind. I really want you to more ruminate with it in your body. So again, that's more of the feminine energy, but men and women, both of us, we have masculine and feminine energy. That's just how it works, okay? So there's nothing wrong with what's that little saying, like being in your feelings. There's nothing wrong with being in your feelings, right? But maybe like give yourself a timer with that as well. Like if you know that you're experiencing negative feelings, or you're kind of down, you kind of want to have like a pity party. Okay. Give yourself like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, depending on what happened, for sure, because I don't definitely understand there's some serious shit that happens that you're just like, "Oh my gosh." Give yourself that time to cope with it, to grieve, to whatever it is that you need to do. So that way you're not spending any more extra time or extra energy on it. And then just move on and move forward. Now, maybe the next day, you're going to have to do the same thing. That's okay. Change does not occur overnight. It doesn't happen like that. Change occurs over time with the choices and decisions that we make that are habits, that we make habitual, that we make part of our routine, right? So, as long as we completely understand that, and as long as we understand that when we're making a choice, when we're making a decision, that we need to do it from the person that we are right now and focus on the right now and not focus on, the future, and definitely not focus on the past, right? The past is for occasionally like reminiscing, having good memories about certain things. But what the past is not for is for getting on that loop of like a trauma, or getting on a loop of something, bad that happened, something that didn't, feel good to you. Because sometimes that's what the past is going to want to do, not because it's so much the past's fault, it's the subconscious fault. Because what is it trying to do? Like I said earlier, self-sabotage. Because the subconscious doesn't like change. It gets fearful of change. Even if you yourself are not fearful, your subconscious is. So understanding that about yourself, understanding that about your body, that's how, our minds just work. And understanding that fear is something that we are all going to face when it comes to making choices and decisions, at least the big ones, maybe not the small ones, like what am I going to have for lunch? That's probably not going to elicit any fear. But, the big ones, right? Things that, you kind of get a little like, about. I'm not going to repeat that. Just kidding. So, just understanding that, right? Just understanding that as long as we're, coming from things in the present, then that's where we need to be. And that's how we're going to be making the best decisions that we possibly can for who we are right now. So that was my spiel on making present focused decisions and choices. If anybody has any questions or any comments, I would love to see them. If there's, anything I can answer for you or help you with, I would love to be able to do that. I have about 3 minutes. So if anyone wants to put something on the live chat, that's what I am here for. I'm here to kind of open it up into a little Q&A. And if not, no worries too, right? Because I can always just talk through it. Because it is a big deal, it really is a big deal where we're coming from, and being honest, truly being honest about where we're at with everything, right? And sometimes that's what they call an ugly truth. I don't really see it that way. I see it more as like, oh, okay, I'm aware now. I'm aware of, like, I see it as an opportunity. Like, I'm aware now of what I need to do, of the choices and decisions I need to make to be the person that I want to be, knowing the things that I need to work on, whether that be from just knowing, just like intrinsically, intuitively knowing, or knowing because of feedback from other people. Again, when you're accepting feedback, you have to think about, is this someone that I would trade places with? If it's not somebody you would trade places with, then maybe don't take the advice. Maybe don't take the feedback. Just kind of let it brush off your shoulders. Keep a smile on if you want, just like, all right. When things like that no longer bother you. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it is so important to enjoy life, right? And that's why when we're making a decision, we don't want to make it like over a super long period of time. We want to just make the decision and do it. Tommy, hi. I love that. That's a great one. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Let me see. I forgive others quickly and move on to concentrate on other people's good qualities. Yes, I love that, because what Tommy's saying is not to focus on the people that maybe you're perceiving as bringing you down, right? Oh, thank you for the like. Um, and instead choosing to focus your energy, choosing to focus your time. Hey, Mac, choosing to focus your time and your energy on people that are going to be uplifting you, people that are going to be supportive of you, right? And sometimes that's a trial and error thing. Sometimes it takes a while just to kind of learn who those people are, and also what those qualities are that make those people the supportive people that you want to have and keep in your life. So Tommy, I love that. That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Honestly, like everyone, if you have a pen and paper, write that down, because it is so true. It's so true, and it is a very, very, very concise way to say that, because again, your time, your energy, and your money, those are your big three resources. And in that order, too. Time is first, energy is second, and money is third. Now, not everyone may agree with me on that, and that's okay. That doesn't bother me. I've seen it proven time and time again. You like palm trees? Yeah, no, thank you, Tommy. That was honestly, that's so great. I really hope people write that down, because I'm gonna probably screenshot this on my phone, because I have my phone for the live chat, and I'm gonna screenshot it, and I'm gonna probably write it in my affirmations journal. I'm gonna do that right this second. Oh, thank you, Mac. That's very sweet of you to say. I appreciate that. That's very sweet. Oh, I don't know what that is. So, but yeah, if there's not anything else, any other questions, anything that anybody has, then I will just say thank you so very much for joining this live stream. It means the world to me. You can join as on one of the tiers, but there's like the top tier, right? And in that top tier, I will actually be doing live streams for those members that are like coaching live streams, and it is a huge, like really huge discount for my actual one-on-one coaching. So if anybody's interested in like the one-on-one coaching experience, but can't afford what my rates are, I would highly suggest joining that top tier, because I priced it like really like not expensive at all. And then you would be able to join in on those live streams, but they would be focused on you. And especially like the first person to get in, they would be literally getting all the coaching until the second person joins in. And then that doesn't even mean that they're going to join in on the live stream. Oh, okay, palm trees and a purple heart. Got it. I don't know what all those emojis mean, sorry. But yes, again, thank you so much for joining the live stream. I love Vans, actually. If you want me to be 100% honest, I dress like this for, to be professional, but I wear Vans all the time. Yeah, sometimes it is. All right. Yeah, you do in a way, but you can kind of do it like with a puzzle. It's just about understanding the frame and then filling it in. That's the easiest way to solve a puzzle. Frame, fill it in. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you, Mac. I appreciate you. They will. I'm manifesting them right now. And yeah, have a wonderful night. I will see y'all on the next live stream. Or if you watch my videos, you can go and get a whole bunch of me in the videos. So, all right. Thank you so much. You too. All right. Bye, guys.